Sawubona, you creative visionary. Igama lam, Utembi, Telezi, Queen Bringer of Good Hope. Let's continue. Episode 13. Crossroads of Conviction. As the last of his team members filter out of the conference room, Alex remains seated, enveloped in a heavy silence that seems to echo the weight of the words just exchanged. The air feels thicker, charged with unspoken doubts and considerations that hadn't surfaced until today. Around him, the office continues its usual hum, oblivious to the shifts occurring in its midst. Alex's gaze drifts over the empty chairs, each one representing a colleague whose lives he hopes to impact positively. The room, a familiar setting for countless strategic decisions, now serves as a crucible for his transformation. The walls, adorned with accolades and charts, seem to watch over him, witnesses to the internal struggle between his past self and the person he aspires to become. As he stands, the slight creak of his chair sounds unusually loud in the deserted room. He feels the weight of his role, not just as a leader, but as an agent of change. With each step towards his office, his resolve deepens, tempered by the realizations of the day. The path to his office is reflective, a short journey that mirrors the longer, more arduous path he has embarked upon. Each footstep resonates with a mix of determination and doubt, an acknowledgement of the challenges that lie ahead. Alex knows that the change he envisions is not merely a shift in policy or practice, but a redefinition of the company's soul. A vision that requires nurturing, patience, and perhaps most daunting of all, the acceptance of his team. Reaching his office, he pauses at the door, hand on the handle, feeling the cool metal against his skin. This threshold, once crossed daily without thought, now marks the line between the known and the unknown. Taking a deep breath, Alex steps inside, ready to face whatever comes next, armed with the insights from his retreat, but also aware of the turbulent waters of resistance he needs to navigate. The solitude of his office offers a brief respite, a moment to regroup and strategize about the integration of his new self into his old world. His office, usually a place of solace and command, now feels like a command center on the brink of a significant campaign. Alex knows that the real work begins not with a directive or a memo, but with the harder, more subtle task of winning hearts and minds, including his own. Alex barely has time to settle into the familiar contours of his office chair when the door swings open abruptly. Tom strides in, his usual composed demeanor replaced by visible frustration. His footsteps are firm and deliberate as he closes the distance between them. His expression, a hardened mask of discontent. "Alex," Tom begins, his voice carrying an edge sharper than Alex had heard before. "This whole spiritual journey thing, it's great for you, mate. Sure, but let's be real here. This is not what the company needs." He pauses, planting his hands on the desk, leaning forward slightly as if to emphasize the seriousness of his words. "We're here to work, not meditate or delve into emotional expressions. You're dreaming if you think everyone will buy into this bullshit. It's disruptive, and frankly, it's not why we're here." His tone is accusatory, each word punctuated with a mix of disbelief and indignation. Tom's gaze is unyielding, searching Alex's face for signs of acknowledgement or retreat. "You've changed. I get that. And that's not a bad thing on its own. But you can't expect the whole company to shift its focus just because you've had an epiphany. People have lives outside of this office, real issues that might not align with this new philosophy you want to impose." The room, usually a sanctuary of strategic thought and leadership, now feels more like an arena. The air is thick with tension, the kind that fills the space with an almost tangible presence of conflict. Tom's stance is rigid, his words echoing off the walls, filling the office with a cold reality that Alex had hoped to transform, but now sees as a significant barrier to his envisioned path. In his office, Alex stands a few paces away from Tom, absorbing the sharp critiques with a tranquility that had become his new shield. The air between them crackles with the tension of conflicting visions. Alex's resolve to bring a deeper sense of humanity into the workplace is now on trial, challenged by Tom's stark pragmatism. "Tom, I hear you," Alex starts, his voice even but firm, a statement to the inner peace he fought hard to cultivate. "But isn't it possible to blend both our goals? Can't our work benefit from a bit more humanity?" He gestures towards the window, drawing a parallel to the world outside that thrives on balance and integration. He steps closer, bridging the gap not just physically, but philosophically. "Imagine if we could enhance our work environment in a way that actually feeds back into our productivity. We're talking about fostering a workplace where mindfulness and emotional intelligence become tools that lead to better decision-making and a more harmonious office environment." Alex's eyes are earnest, seeking not just to convince, but to connect with Tom. "We've seen the reports, read the studies. Companies that embrace these practices have teams that are not only happier, but more efficient and creative. They're adapting to challenges with greater agility because they are mentally and emotionally prepared. He pauses, allowing his words to settle in the room, hoping they percolate through Tom's defenses. I'm not suggesting a complete overhaul overnight, Tom. I'm proposing we start small. A few minutes of guided meditation to start the day, perhaps, or some workshops to equip our team with the skills to manage stress and foster collaboration. Alex's proposal hangs between them, a delicate offer extended in the hope of finding common ground in their shared pursuit of the company's success. Tom scuffs, his posture tensing as he crosses his arms tightly across his chest, leaning back against the solid frame of Alex's office door. His expression is marked by a mix of impatience and visible annoyance, his brows squinting deeply as he eyes Alex with a skeptical look. The air between them thickens with tension as Tom's voice cuts sharply through the quiet of the room. Alex, let's get one thing straight, Tom begins, his tone brimming with frustration. This is a business, not some kind of spiritual retreat center. People come here to work, to earn their living, not to embark on some quest to find themselves or achieve enlightenment. He shakes his head, disbelief coloring his features as he continues, his voice rising slightly in volume. You're talking about bringing mindfulness and emotional awareness into the workplace like it's going to solve all our problems? But remember, we're here to push numbers, not sit around meditating. Keep your personal revelations and this newfound spiritual awakening out of the boardroom. Tom's stance is unyielding, his skepticism clearly laid out as he adds, we've got a bottom line to think about. Our stakeholders aren't going to care about how self-aware we are when we're looking at our financial reports. They want results, not employees who are well-versed in mindfulness. As he finishes, Tom's gaze is locked on Alex, challenging him to defend his perspective against the stark view of corporate reality. His words hang heavily in the air, a stark reminder of the conventional business attitudes that Alex is attempting to shift. Despite Tom's resistance, Alex remains undeterred. He takes a deep breath, steadying himself against the wave of dismissal. Standing his ground, he continues with a calm yet passionate conviction, trying to bridge the gap between his vision and Tom's pragmatism. It's not just about feeling good, Tom, Alex begins, his voice firm and persuasive. Think about the broader implications. It's about working smarter, not harder, about reducing burnout and fostering a supportive environment. Happy employees aren't just more productive, they're more creative, they're more committed, and they stick around longer. Alex steps closer, his hands open in a gesture of earnestness. Imagine a team that feels valued and understood, a team that's equipped to handle stress and conflict effectively. This isn't just about personal growth. It's a strategic approach to enhancing our overall productivity and maintaining our competitive edge. He holds Tom's gaze, hoping to connect on a level beyond corporate strategy, to tap into a shared desire for a thriving workplace. We have a chance to lead the way in creating a work culture that truly values its people. Isn't that worth trying? Alex's question hangs in the air, a challenge wrapped in an invitation. Tom's patience reaches its breaking point. He steps closer. He stands firm, and his voice carrying a weight of finality that fills the office. "Look, Alex," he starts, the intensity in his eyes undeniably serious. "I've stood by this company through ups and downs, through every rough patch, and boom. I am here because I believe in what we've built, not to chase after fleeting feelings." His hands gesture empathetically as he continues, his tone edged with a stark warning. "I have an MBA, Alex. I'm trained to analyze data, optimize strategy, and maximize profitability. I'm not here to delve into existential musings or explore philosophical wellness. If you insist on pushing this new agenda, you're not just risking the company's culture, you might end up alienating your most loyal employees, the very backbone of this firm." Tom pauses, letting his words sink in, his gaze locked on Alex. "Consider what you're jeopardizing here," he adds, the frustration in his voice now mixed with a hint of pleading. "Think about it, Alex. This isn't just about you and your personal transformations. It's about all of us, about the future of the company we've all worked so hard to build. You need to weigh that against these ideas of yours." He holds his arms again, standing resolute. "I'm all for personal development, but not when it threatens to disrupt our operational flow or our bottom line. You need to think very carefully about the path you're choosing to take us down." As Alex reclines in his chair, the oppressive weight of Tom's words crashes down on him, making the air in the office feel thick and heavy. His freshly kindled convictions, still fragile, tremble under the threat of losing core members of his team. People like Tom, whose loyalty and expertise have been pillars of the company's success. The rapid beat of his heart echoes the familiar dread of loss, a resonance amplified by the sharp, lingering pain of his grandfather's absence and the shock of Nicholas's ultimate death. These old wounds, never fully healed, now bleed into his current predicament, blurring the lines between personal grief and professional peril. The quiet of the room feels overwhelming, filled with the ghostly whispers of past conversations and the echoes of laughter now tinged with the specter of division. Alex's thoughts spiral, envisioning a fractured team, a divided company culture, and the potential disintegration of everything he had worked so hard to build. This cloud of doubt enshrouds him, a thick fog that seeps into every crevice of his resolve, challenging his every move. Yet, within this turmoil, a small yet defiant spark of resolve flickers to life. His journey of transformation, initiated in the stillness of the woods, was never meant to be a smooth transition. It was always destined to confront and unsettle the established norms of his leadership and the company's culture. The very essence of change, he realizes, is not just in adapting new practices, but in enduring the tempest they unleash. This confrontation with his fears, the pervasive fear of loss that has shadowed his entire life, forces Alex to confront not just the practical implications of his new path, but the emotional resilience it demands. Each echo of loss in his life, from his grandfather to Nicholas and possibly Tom, has chipped away at his ability to trust and share his true self, leaving him armored against vulnerability. Now, as he sits surrounded by the silence of his office, Alex understands that his true test lies in not merely introducing mindfulness and emotional awareness into his business practice, but in integrating these principles into every fabric of his identity. To truly lead by example, he must navigate through this fog of doubt, armed with the lessons of the past and the clarity his retreat afforded him. Embracing this new path means accepting the possibility of loss as a necessary pain on the road to genuine transformation and deeper connections, both in his personal life and in his professional world. The decisions before him now seem daunting. How much of his new self should he reveal? How can he integrate his heightened emotional awareness into his leadership without destabilizing the team dynamics or undermining his own authority? These questions press on him, demanding a balance he is still learning to achieve. As he turns from the window, Alex resolves to approach his role with a renewed sense of purpose. He understands that true leadership involves risk. The risk of vulnerability, the risk of change, and yes, the risk of loss. But it also requires the courage to be authentic, to show up in one's whole self, and to invite others to do the same. Determined, Alex sketches out a tentative plan, one that balances his newfound insights with the pragmatic needs of his company. He knows the road ahead will be fraught with challenges, but he also senses that this path, if navigated wisely, could lead to a richer, more fulfilling professional life and personal experience. As he gathers his things to leave, the lingering light of the sunset offers a silent promise. Tomorrow is another day, another opportunity to blend the lessons of the past with the possibilities of the future. So stay tuned for the next episode of Whispers of Wisdom, where Alex faces his biggest challenge yet, Will he navigate the stormy waters of change? Or will the friction among the ranks force him to abandon his journey? Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like this video and share this video. Because here's the truth. We all live these situations. We might just not be aware that we're all living these situations. Alex is living this situation at work with all of the characters. Tom, who is his strategic advisor, who's always negative, nothing's going to work because he's afraid, because he's got an MBA, and at these schools they told him to do this and this and this, and this is how business is going to work. And now that business is not going to work that way, and Alex is like, yo man, we need to take a turn. Tom is intimidated by change. So these characters represent people in our lives. If you are a CEO, you know that these characters exist. It's called change. If you are a father, if you are a mother and you're trying to implement change in your house, you know that these characters exist. You probably, if you are a sibling, sister, brother, you have siblings like this who refuse to change, who are mad all the time, who are defiant. If you've got girlfriends, guy friends, you know people like this who refuse to change, who will come and fight you for change. And then when their lives fall apart or when it all goes bad, they're like, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? No, I told you, but you just refused to change. So here's the thing. Change is hard. Nobody wants to do it. But in the end, leadership is about looking within, changing yourself, because there is no Jesus that is going to come and help you or save you. There is no Buddha that is going to come and help you or save you. There is nobody on planet Earth that is coming to help you or save you. You have got to do the work to change yourself. If you do not change, you remain the same and your life becomes a shit show. Truly, it becomes a shit show. So the characters are indicative of all the characters in our own lives. Everyone is a leader in some regard. And if you're not aware of the leadership and the characters playing in your life can really become a shit show. So please don't forget to subscribe and join us for the next episode of Whispers of Wisdom as the sage of transformation continues in the corporate world. Thank you so much. I hope to see you in episode number 14. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Bye for now.